Hi students, let us enjoy the nature. Look at the tree, look at the sky, so beautiful. And look at the rain, so beautiful, so marvelous.
Hi my dear students, I am much delighted to present this video session for you. Look at the trees, look at the stars, look at the birds, look at the clouds, how happy they are. If you have real eyes, you will enjoy the existence of all human or living beings. The flowers are happy, the trees are happy, the birds are happy. Yes, they do not want to become a prime minister, president, chief minister, etc., etc., etc. Still, they are very happy. They are enjoying each and every moment. Yes, my dear students, it is something unbelievable. How happy this world is, except man. Except man, the creation of God is so beautiful, bountiful, and they are enjoyable. Yes, my dear students, the colors of nature really are the smiles. The colors of nature are the smiles that we give to our fellow human being. We have to be one with nature to enjoy its beauty. Yes, my dear students, the nature can teach us a great lesson for each and every one of us. It can teach us how to be happy, forgetting all the worries, struggle, everything. Your childhood memories, the way that you lived, the way that you played, the way that you roamed around the houses, everything you can recall. Some of the childhood memories, yes, the unforgettable memories in your life is something which is always within us. Today, I am going to take 11th standard poem 2, that is Our Casuarina Tree. Our Casuarina Tree. The poet Dor Dutt is a poet or poetess of this poem, beautiful poem. In the next slide, we will see about her personal life. Now, I am just going to justify the title. What is Our Casuarina Tree? Why the poetess has kept the title as Our Casuarina Tree? Here I just wanted to make sure the poet does not keep the word as the. Why she has kept the title as our? Why she has kept the title as our? It's not the. It's not the. Many people call it as the Casuarina Tree, but it's not the Casuarina Tree, it is our Casuarina Tree. Our word refers to the love, affection. They had under the tree. They had under the tree. That's why Emily, she is talking about her siblings, her elder brother and her sister. The kind of life that they had under the tree, the friendship, love, affection, they had under the tree. That's why she kept the title as Our Casuarina Tree. It refers to my feelings, my sentiments, everything is expressed in this poem. So, Our Casuarina Tree is justified. Casuarina tree, in Tamil we say it is a Savukkumaram. It refers to Savukkumaram that most of you have seen. Those who are living in the town, you may not see. When you go outside, you will see this beautiful tree which grows so tall, and this tree is mainly used for construction purpose. It is so strong, so bold. That's why nowadays they use it in the construction purpose. This poetess Dor Dutt is going to talk about this beautiful tree, the magnificence of the tree. Now, before entering into the topic, I just would like to tell the students, this poem has got 5 stanza and 11 lines. It has got 11 lines. My dear students, now, how this poem is structured, how this poem is divided, it is divided into 3 types. It is divided into 3 types. We can divide it. Though it has got 5 stanza, each stanza has got 11 lines, but we can divide into 3 types. The first type is which it talks about the description of the tree, the cashew nut tree. It talks about the description, the physical appearance of the tree. We will see the very first part. The physical appearance, namely its size, its color, etc. Everything we will see in the first type. Second type, the second part talks about why I like the tree, which tempted me, in what way I am oriented towards the tree. What's the reason? There should be some reason behind it. If I like someone, there should be some reason. If I like the flowers, there should be some reason. If I like a tree, there should be some reason. So she says, I like the tree because of this. I like the tree. With various reasons she is going to describe in the second part. The third part, why I wrote this beautiful poem. Why I wrote this beautiful poem. My dear students, this can be a kind of motivation for you. Those who aspire to become a poet or poetess in your life, you should first of all should have a visualization in your life before writing a poem on different or various topic. So this poem has got 3 parts. First part talks about the description, the physical appearance of the tree. Second part, it talks about why the poet liked the tree. What are the reasons? He's just going to put down all the reasons. Third one, why I wrote this. Why? What's the reason for writing this beautiful poem in my life? So I'm very clear about the title. I have justified the title. It's not the cashew nut tree, it is our cashew nut tree. Our refers to the love and affection that we had, my siblings. Next, it has got 5 stanzas. Each stanza has got 11 lines. So it is divided into 3 parts that I have very well explained. So going to the next part, that is, we will see who is Dor Dutt. Now we shall see something about the personal life of the poetess Dor Dutt. 1856 to 1877. On March 4th, she was born, and we know that she died in the year 1877. Just she lived for 21 years. Imagine, just for 21 years she lived. But she comes from the school of intellectuals. She comes from school of poets. Her background story. Many of the tutors, English tutors, came to her house to teach English. She is from West Bengal, what we call it as today Kolkata, from the family of Dutt, from the school of intellectuals as well as poets. That's why her father has arranged English tutors to teach her English, especially those days. The Englishman went to her house to teach English. That's why she became very expert in English language. Now, she is the Bengali poetess woman who wrote in English and French. She is very expert not only in English as well as in French. First Indian poetess to write in English. Yes, we are very proud to say Dor Dutt is the first woman to write poems in English. The first woman to write poem in English. First novel published in English by an Indian writer. See, the credit goes to her for being the first in everything. The first woman to write a poem. Next, first novel to be published in Indian writer. As a poet, her poems have Indian themes and background. Yes, this is what we have to see. This poem also has got a superficial meaning as well as inner meaning. That's what I will go and explain. It's not only just for namesake, just to read line by line explain. The poem has got a superficial meaning as well as the inner meaning that we will read as we read line by line, the first stanza, second stanza, third, fourth, fifth stanza and so on. I will explain to you what are the inner meanings. In all the stanzas, in all the poems, she tries to bring out the Indian culture, Indian tradition, Indian lifestyle. That's what she's trying to give. India is a vast country where there are different religious people are there, but still we are one. Though many people come to India, okay, but we are never worried. We welcome them. We give a kind of hospitality towards all the people. We are ready to welcome whoever comes to India, whoever comes to our house. So we live in India with so much of diversity, but we are one. In India, we will find different religious people, different language people. Still, we are one. We want to prove to the nation that we are one. Now, coming back to our lesson of the poem, as it has got 5 stanzas, each stanza has got 11 lines. That's what we will see. Now, coming back to her personal life, her brother name is Abhichu. Her sister name is Aru. Both of them died of tuberculosis. Now, she wrote this poem when she was on the brink of death. On the deathbed, she started to write this poem. She wrote many poems. According to her father, she kept on writing poems. She just took a paper, started write poem, just throw it out, throw it. Never she kept it everything in a safe custody. But her father, after her death, collected all the papers, all the poems that was written by his daughter. Those poems are called miscellaneous poem. From there only, this best poem, that is Our Cashew Nut Tree, is taken for you. So this is what you have to understand. Miscellaneous collections, miscellaneous poems. From there, it is taken for you as the best poem, the best writing, one of the best writings of Dorudat. And that is the title, we call it as Our Cashew Nut Tree. So she wrote this poem when she was on the brink of death. This is what we have to see. Coming back to the very first stanza. The very first stanza talks about the description of the tree, the physical appearance of the tree. Yes, the very physical appearance of the tree. What are the physical appearance? That's what we are going to see. I will read the line. I will read the poetic lines. Then I will give a proper explanation for you. Like a huge python winding round and round, the wrecked trunk indented with scars up to its very summit near the stars. A creeper climbs in whose embraces bound no other tree could live but gallantly. My dear students, this is the physical appearance of the tree. The physical appearance. Some of the meanings I have given. What is a python here? Python. Okay, non-venomous snake. Venomous means poisonous. The word venomous means poisonous snake. Malai Pambu. We say in Tamil as a Malai Pambu. Huge one. Next, scars. Deep mark. Sometimes they will have, what is your identification marks? Scars. The teachers will ask you. This is some of the marks that you will find. Next, gallantly, bravely. This word I just wanted to explain to you. What do you mean by the word gallantly? It is an adjective mainly used for men. It is used for men, not for women. What is that gallantly? It is an adjective. It is a part of speech is called adjective. It means being gentle, being gentle, being lovable, lovable, being kind, being lovable, being gentle, gallantly. Next, the figures of speech that is used in this line is like a huge python, like a huge python, like, the word like is a figures of speech that comes under the simile. How we will find out simile? Simile is a figures of speech that which speaks about direct connection with the subject. So here the words that are used in simile is like as, like as. So we find the word here like a huge python winding round and round the wrecked trunk. Wrecked, what do you mean by the word wrecked? It is, the word wrecked means old. The word wrecked means old. In Tamil we will say Vairam painda maram. Vairam painda maram. So this tree, the tree that we are going to, the cashew nut tree is very old, intended with the scars. Okay, around the tree there are marks. There are marks. What is it? Up to its very summit. What is mean by the top? The top. On the top of the summit, near the star. Sometimes the poet says that the creepers, see here, like a huge python winding round and round, the wrecked trunk indented with the scars, up to its very summit near the stars. Yes, it moves around. The creeper goes around. It is touching the stars. See the beauty of the poet, the beauty of the nature is explained here. A creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound, no other tree could live but gallantly. See, since it is a old tree, okay, for years and years it is remaining there. That's why the creepers, okay, kudigal, the creepers can slowly take its bend round and climb over the tree. So strong it is, so powerful this tree. No other tree can live like a cashew nut tree, bearing so much of creepers on its body. Though there are marks here and there. Yes, but gallantly, it is so smiling, is so happy, so lovable, so gentle, so kind to everybody. This tree has got so much of meaning. The word gallantly has got so much of meaning. The tree never says no to anybody. Whoever wants to climb over the creepers, it says, I am very happy. Please use me. And happily, it is accepting all the people, all the creepers that wanted to climb on the tree. No other tree could but gallantly. The giant wears the scarf and flowers are hung in crimson cluster, all the boughs among, whereon all day are gathered birds and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkening from our tree while men repose. While men repose. Some of the glossaries that I have given here, in the previous slide I have given the word gallantly, bravely, heroic. This is the normal English meaning that we will get it here. But here the poet wanted to give different meaning. What the different meaning means? The word gallantly goes with men, not with women. This adjective is used for men, being lovable, kind, gentle. Next, repose. The word repose means state of rest. State of rest. And the figures of speech that is used here is the personification. What do you mean by the word personification? Okay, here the tree is personified. The tree with its shape, with its height, it is personified. The poet just personifying the poet. Now listen here. Personifying the crimson clusters, all the boughs among crimson clusters. This is the imagery that is used. Now listen here. The giant wears, what is the giant wears here? The giant refers to, bold. It is very bold. So strong. That refers to the tree. The giant refers to the tree, and flowers are hung. So as the creepers are climbing up, so much of flowers are hanging around the tree. What is the color of the tree? What is the color of the crimson? Crimson means it refers to dark color, bright color. Sometimes it refers to red. Crimson cluster. What do you mean by the word cluster? The word cluster means in groups. In groups. Groups. Boughs among, where on all the day gathers birds, and we see normally when we find some of the flowers on the tree or on the branches, we will find birds coming there, plus bees also attracted towards flowers. And often at nights the garden overflows. Yes, not only daytime, even at night also the garden is full of. The word overflows means full of. Full of. What is full of? Full of birds with one sweet sound that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree while men repose. While we take rest at night, still I could hear a murmuring sound, a humming sound that comes from the tree. I did not know who makes it. Daytime I could see the birds, daytime I could see the bees and so on, but nighttime, while men repose, while we take rest, still I could hear the murmuring or the humming sound. I don't know who is producing. I don't know whether it's a tree, whether it's a birds or not, but still I could hear in the night. See, this is the imagination of the poetess. How she imagines. So, the very first stanza talks about the physical appearance, the description of the tree. As I told you, it is divided into 3 parts. What are the parts? The 3 parts. First one is a description. What is the second one? Why the poet liked it. Third one, why she wrote the poem. So, first part we will see how the physical appearance of the tree is well described here. When first my casement is wide open thrown, at dawn my eyes delighted on its rest. Sometimes and most in winter on its crest, a grey baboon sits statue like alone, watching the sunrise while on the lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play. This is also the physical appearance of the tree. When first my casement means a wide open window. Okay, those days, just if you open the window, it is wide, it's not a small window, a wide open window. When I open my window, now only the poet enters into the scene. So, the very first stanza talked about the physical appearance. Now, the poet is entering onto the stage. When my casement is wide open, when I open widely, what I see? At dawn. What do you mean by the word dawn? Dawn means early morning. The word dawn means early. What is opposite of dawn? Opposite dawn means dusk. The word dusk. Here you have to understand. Sometimes you will get it in the synonymous. Synonymous, antonyms you will get it. My dear students, the opposite of dawn is dusk. Okay, ba? When I open my casement, when I open my window early morning, my eyes are delighted. What do you mean by the word delighted? Okay, ba? Joyful. I am happy. Okay, ba? I am happy to see. Sometimes at the most in winter season, when the whole area is covered with the ice. Okay, ba? The whole area is covered with the ice. On its crest at the end, okay, but top, a grey baboon. See, this is what? A grey baboon. This is the African monkey. African monkey that sits on like a statue. The African monkey, see here, a grey buffoon. This is what we call it as a grey buffoon, which sits like a statue. This is a figure of speech because the word like is used here. Simile. Watching the sunrise. What is doing here? What is the grey buffoon is doing means it is watching the sunrise when the sun slowly is coming up. It is watching the sunrise while on the lower bough on its down in another branch we will see on lower boughs is puny offspring. Puny means this is what? The puny offspring. Listen here. The younger ones, what they do? Leave about and play. So, his offspring, the small ones, these are the small ones, they are playing, they are jumping from tree to tree. Okay, they are playing jumping from one branches to another branch and they are playing there. So, this is the word leap means jump. Jump from branches to branches. My dear students, I have explained to you the superficial meaning that is given in the poem. Next, what is the intended meaning? See, the poetess wanted to say something about our Indian culture. That's what I said in the beginning of the lesson. She wanted to convey that India is a great nation which has got a vast tradition, culture and so on. Like the colors, crimson colors, we have got people, different people, different religious people, different personality, different language. These are things goes on in our country. Like a bird that comes to take rest on the tree. The birds, they come to take rest on the tree. The bees, they come to taste the honey. Likewise, foreigners come to our country and we give them warm welcome. Never we say no. We give them warm welcome. So, one way or other, in this poem, the poetess wanted to give lot of importance to Indian culture, Indian theme. She wanted to show to the other nation that our country has possessed of so much of diversity. Still we are one. Still we are one. This is what we will see. We had seen in this poem. We will continue in the remaining stanzas in the next class. My dear students, the first two stanzas I explained. The first part is like the description of the tree, the physical appearance of the tree, about the author, about your personal life, everything we have seen here, and I have justified the title as well. Hope to see the next video session. Thank you.